Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorial, we'll start doing something more practical with our animations and try to review all that knowledge we look in previous tutorials. So let's create sphere, and it will be our ball that I want to animate. The simple animations when it's going and bounce it on a ground, and we'll try to replicate a real world physics with this ball. So the one thing, it's a kind of minus in the view. It doesn't have any collision detection. So we need it utilized by ourselves how the object will react with the world around it. Or currently we have it ground, so we need to take this object and animate it, how it will go down, bouncing. Also deformation on the object. We'll try simulate the actual material that is a rubber ball made from. So let's do this. We'll go ahead and enable our timeline. At this point, I'm just minimizing our properties and our spine lines. We open them in the future and we'll tweak a little bit more with this. Right now, I want to create just very rough animation. The one thing what I want to do, it is add keyframe to my sphere. Next, let's go ahead, shrink a little bit down. Okay, and I want to create about 2 seconds animation. It's maybe a little bit short, but for purpose of this tutorial, so we'll go ahead, add another keyframe, one move this down, and here is why I want to have the final position. If you have a hard time placing object on the ground, remember you have options where we can drop the object relative to the object under or straight on the ground. So I just drop right here. At this point, we'll go ahead and try to simulate. So we have our object, but right here first, I want to go ahead and again drop to the ground. Next, it should bounce it slightly up. Okay, and you notice I want to reduce also because the height, and now it's again drop down. Now we have it a little bit shorter. So bounce a little bit up and just almost right here, drop down again. So again, let's go ahead now, preview. You notice right here, it's kind of, but it doesn't have it realistic. The reason is why, because we have it here is constant animation. So it doesn't, instead acceleration, kind of jump, again, acceleration, decrease on the height. So we needed to rework a little bit on that animation. As well, you notice we don't have any deformation on our object. To apply deformation, we just all need apply straight to our object. To go from one frame to another, we'll just use our next keyframe button. Go to this point, and at this right now, I want actually change our object. I want a little bit squish it. It's actually what happened to the proper of the rubber ball. It's a little bit deforming because with all this velocity, it's kind of applied. So we'll go to next keyframe. Now we up in higher position, and many times you notice the rubber actually a little bit overcompensating. So we'll actually have it a little bit more stretch up. To next, again this point, I want deformation, but not that much. We'll go to next frame. Here's like restoring. Next keyframe, slightly deformation, and we're back to normal. Okay, now you know right here the couple things we start having deformations too early. So you notice we're deforming right here. We don't just deforming in a time when it's happened. So we need to lock in some case our properties in it when we start hitting just this point as well when it's happened deformation after. So let me show you. So right here you notice we start already before deformation. Instead, deformation must be happen on a point of the impact. However, when we're going up, the all these material properties of our rubber ball is restoring. So this is kind of correct. And again, we right here when deformation happen, we need to create this on a point of the impact. So we need to modify just these small points. As well, we need to change our velocity. So that's right now we expand our properties and expand our curves. So we start working with this. Let's go to this point, and we'll right now click on a size. And right here with size, you can notice on a Z, it's where it's all happen. Right here where we start changing our property. So let's just move closer. Okay, I want just slightly adjust as well our screen, so we'll have a little bit more to view. This is spine line which represent for us right here. It's representing the changing size for our object. So if I'm going ahead, add one keyframe at this point, move it all the way up, you notice our size will change as well because we have this overcompensation happen. To fix with this, we go right and switch to the linear. Okay, at this point we have an object. When it's just hitting, it's kind of squished and it's fly out. So we probably want this modify and adjust. Here we can take our keyframe and just readjusting. So at that point you can see our ball going with normal size. We start hitting ground, the velocity apply on material properties, so it's squeezed and it's going back. Again, this is not perfect. We need a little bit adjust more, maybe position a little bit before this. Let's check again. Okay, but let's give you in a way you can modify your object properties. And again, right here we modified velocity for our object. So the properties will change. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll a bit more. We'll go when a second impact happen at this point. And again, we can create another keyframe. Move it all the way up. And we're changing this to linear. So we'll have a smooth adjustment. This point. You notice we start having overcompensation right here. Okay, let's readjust spine line. So we have it going up. We start hitting about at this point. So let's readjust. Right this point. So we start hitting. Happen and now increase. And this one is about right. So all what we modify just change a little bit spine lines on object modification. Again, if you look, the vertical, it will represent values we're modifying, and a horizontal represent the time frame that we're modifying in. So we're changing Z size on our vertical, and on our horizontal, we set the time when we want that properly to be changed. Okay, also right here a little bit, maybe not fast enough changing. So let's take this spine and adjusting. So we'll have it. There you go, a little bit better changing. Okay, next, let's go to our position. Okay, and in position, I want to modify on our Z properties. So remember, the velocity is not fast enough, fall down. So we want to modify a little bit our spine lines to create it. It's a little bit more natural look. So I'll take, me move this away right here. And I want just adjust slightly so we have it slow and acceleration happen right here. We have a little bit hit. Now we're going up and again slightly readjusting. So we kind of slow down in speed. And again, this is represent time, this represent our values. So we have a little bit flatten on the top. So we change a little bit values on a time frame. It will represent as a slow falling. Now we're accelerating. We hit again, we're accelerating up, slow down on the top. And same apply to other ones. We're going faster right at this point. Okay. So let's go ahead to the first frame and preview now. So right here, you can notice we start having more real motion already, as well as deformation of our object. So our object slow starting, hit very fast, and with a properly acceleration kind of jumping. Okay. Okay. So what you want to do, probably maybe play a little bit more with pan lines. Try to create different type of the motion. See how they will apply it. Maybe even create a smoother line and a little bit more, you know, harder falling as well. Add additional points so we don't kind of drop too way low on that one. So right here, there you go. Okay, and again, thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio. Please remember, visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com.